and then you can innovate on top of that.
Yeah.
Much like in consumer products, you now have real-time data which you didn't have. You have the computational power to really analyze the data in real time and tell you and give you some insights which 5 years ago you wouldn't have got. And you just put those together and try and keep pace with that. Right? How do you, moving away to a question which I think will be closer to the heart of many people here, you've given all these examples. As an investor, and I like the fact that when you started Khosla Labs, you said it would be experimental, which I hope also means a little bit of this is self-indulgence, right?
You absolutely.
Okay, brilliant. So self-indulgence is good. The journalists do a lot of that. And how do you decide where to invest in? How do you pick from all these areas? How do you choose where you want to invest in? So, just to add to that, do you look for a larger objective? Like, for instance, telemedicine or anything related to remote delivery of medical services in a country like India, which is so underserved in terms of medical care, will have a huge social and economic impact, which ideally the government should have taken care of. But here you have private enterprise or social enterprise, whatever it is coming. And the gains are not just economic, right? You're achieving a higher objective. So are you driven by that to some extent? What influences?
So multiple things here. I personally don't like to invest in anything that's bad for society. So you'll never see me invest in a gambling company or oil sands or anything that's environmentally bad. Just won't do it. I don't care how much money it makes us. I also like to say, and I tell all our investors this, which nobody ever tells their investors, I said, if I can make more of an impact and make less money, I will prefer that option to making more money and less impact. Now, if any investor doesn't want to invest with us, they have a choice not to do so. But I'm very open about that, and I don't tell my investors I'm trying to maximize profit, which is unusual. The other surprising thing which I tell people is in the last 100 investments we've made, probably we've never calculated a rate of return. Now, I don't know of any other investor who never calculates a rate of return. That's not to say we don't care about the rate of return. Especially in our main fund, it's important to have enough return to keep our investors happy so they keep coming back, so I can indulge in my whim and fancy of trying to. What I really enjoy and why I work, and I suspect, even looking at the ages out here, I suspect I have more years left to work before I retire now again than anybody here. I've committed to work for at least another 25 years. I'm 58, so at least till the age of 83. And I picked that number because my partner is Pierre Lamont, and he's just starting to slow down, and he's 83. So I have a lot of time left, no hurry. It's great fun to innovate. It's great fun also to cause economic disruption, be a pain for bigger companies. Now, starting Juniper when nobody thought Cisco could be challenged was just an incredible amount of fun. Very hard, some days very depressing because startups are very hard things to do, as many of your entrepreneurs know. They're never easy, but it's very rewarding. The other thing I would say is we have a special fund called Khosla Impact Fund, where we have no other investors other than me. And that fund basically is chartered with only investing in companies that provide goods and services for the bottom 3 billion people on the planet. And Peter's here from DripTech. It's a very fun company. Peter used to stand up. They basically build irrigation systems, drip irrigation systems for farmers. They're based out of Pune. of less than a couple of acres. If a farmer can't afford an irrigation system from Jane Irrigation, fancy installations, self-install, very cheap, but just as good, drip tag, and they're doing very well. So I'm excited about that. That fund, impact matters more than return, but there I'm doing it with just my money, so I have a different set of goals than our main fund. Having said that, what do I look for? More than anything else, we look for people. You know, we didn't start Khosla Labs because we had a plan. We didn't have a strategic plan for India. We started Khosla Labs because we found a great team of people. Srikant and the rest of the team was really great. I said, I haven't seen this good a team in most startups around. Definitely not in India, so let's hire the team. If we hire a great team, we'll figure out what to do. So people always come number one. The second thing that matters is, are they trying to do something in an area where it has a big chance of succeeding? I like to say I don't mind failing, but if we succeed, it better be worth succeeding. You know, I've seen too many startups that basically reduce risk to the point where they have a higher probability of succeeding, but if they succeed, it's inconsequential. And most investors, and I bought company there because they like to reduce risk of startups. I actually like the more risky startups that are trying to do bigger, bolder things. And I don't mind the higher probability of failure. And I have to say, so that's the second thing. I'll come back to this issue, remind me on failure, because it's very misunderstood. The third thing I look for is, I'd say, great marketplaces. Do people have some advantage in going after this great marketplace? But if they have great people, the third thing falls in place. So it essentially boils down to the first two. Let me come back to this issue of failure. I would challenge anyone here to point to as many failures